Welcome back. We're continuing the all character combos challenge now that there's new combos, but just quickly going over some things about the Regal update before we do. There's a couple undocumented changes, but no major bug fixes uh, outside of like there was a teaser for Bollocks Pit Mobile on the Devolver Digital Twitter, and then some of the controls for that were in the game. So some people got stuck when they started to run, and there was a hot fix immediately after to fix the issue of the mobile control showing up and making you unable to play on some PCs. That was the only major update. The minor updates weren't documented. Radical and Cogitator can now be paired. It's no longer an invalid combo. Glacier spikes no longer scale with status effect power and AoE power. Only one of them, so it scales linearly instead of quadratically. For me, it's over a 99% nerf, and it's basically a useless ball now. I think we knew this was coming from the Switch update. It's, I guess, a bug fix and not a nerf technically, but it has the same result, so it's pretty irrelevant for New Game Plus now. And then there's a fusion bug with evolutions and their components. Examples would be Black Hole Sun, Radiation Beam XL, Nosferatu X Spider Queen, so on and so forth, where you needed a third ball to fuse them. Like if you picked up a fuser, it would only offer you gold. That's fixed, so now you can just have the two balls and fuse them together. The case where if you have a baseball as the first ball you pick in an upgrade, it doesn't go back in a fusion, rather, it doesn't go back in the upgrade pool, is still there. And then Heavenly Trophy works for 4 passives now, which are Archer's Effigy, Dynamite, Hand Mirror, Spiked Collar. From testing with all the other passives, it should work with, like Midnight Oil, Deadeye's Amulet, Wretched Onion. It's still broken, and the Wretched Onion tooltip's still broken. So, yeah, if you're doing New Game Plus progression, I would just skip Heavenly Trophy or Stage 7 in general. It's not worth it. None of these have a huge impact or very good passives. What changed in the meta? Obviously, Glacier nerf hurts Sisyphus, but Falconer's an insane partner for Sisyphus since it starts with an AoE ball and duplicates balls. And Sisyphus' main problem was the early game, so honestly, Falconer being available helps Sisyphus more than Glacier being gone hurts him. So it's not too big of a deal for him. The dominant strategy is still Hemorrhage and Baby Balls, spawning as many as possible with things like Gem Spring plus Slingshot or Bandage Roll plus Healer's Effigy or Vampiric Sword, Cornucopia, Maggot, or proccing screen white effects like Flash Hemorrhage. There's some like tier 2 options like Radiation Beam, Overgrowth, Nuke, Phantom. But yeah, the main way you deal damage is still Hemorrhage and Baby Balls. And it's even more so that case because Iron Onesie is cracked. Like, it's extremely strong. And then I put the code up. Yeah, I'll try to explain it. So basically, majority of sources in the game, like Upturned Hatchet, Ethereal Cloak, Frostburn, Crit, that increase damage, add together. So it modifies this total damage value and not the base damage. So if you have 3 100% sources, it's not times 2 times 2 times 2 equals times 8 damage. It's 400 equivalent of 400% damage. Whereas Iron Onesie, if we look at its code, it actually does modify the base damage, so it can be further modified by additional modifiers, and obviously being multiplicative is a lot stronger. There are some bugs with Onesie, like occasionally this number can be 0, which leads to the ball doing 0 damage. I'm not sure why number can go negative. I'm sure that will be fixed, but in a majority of cases, it's just completely broken. Even though there's a cap on the number of baby balls you can spawn, it's really, really good. Like, you don't even need hemorrhage to kill a lot of the bosses now. For endless, of course, it falls off because it's finite. There is a cap on the number of baby balls you can spawn, and health approaches the energy limit, but for progressing, it's good. I guess the only thing is you do have to invest into it, like on its own, with just the default like 40 to 50 baby balls you have from leadership. It's not that insane, but when you're approaching the baby ball cap of like 1,000, it's ridiculous. And what is other new things, and is anything worth taking? Fireworks and Landslide, they both destroy themselves on hit, so they work with Nestor in the way she ignores that penalty. And Landslide's also pretty good in some situations to duplicate strong effects. Like, it's pretty solid with hemorrhage. Catapult can also be situationally useful for duplicating good effects, as long as it can copy the baby ball you want to spawn properly. And it's good too for the characters that keep balls in play a long time, like Shieldbearer, Flagellant, Carouser. The other new things like Banish Flame, Brimstone, Steel, they're not bad and pretty solid if you're progressing in your save file, but for New Game Plus progression, they don't really matter that much. Like, Steel's probably the best of them for NG Plus progression, but it consumes an iron, which you in every scenario should be using for hemorrhage almost. So yeah, it's like the best of the options, but yeah, it's competing with hemorrhage for that ball being used in a evolution, and so it isn't worth taking. And then Laser Cutter is cool visually, but it's usually not worth the investment. It is really cool visually, especially if you get a lot of them on the field. And then Deadeye's Impaler is great for Endless if you have a good desert trophy, but it's way too much investment, or it kind of runs into the same issue as Laser Cutter. Like, the return you get versus the amount of investment, like, you pretty much have to dedicate your whole run to getting it. It's just not worth it. And then Grotesque Artillery is just bad, since Hand Fence, one of the best passives. Just, yeah, not much to say. And then how the runs went, splitting it up into 2 videos, Carouser and then Falconer. There is some overlap since they can pair together, but honestly, Carouser is super strong. As long as you can spawn additional baby balls, being able to keep them in play for a long time is really, really strong. So a majority of them were 0 deaths. The only ones that were a bit tricky with Nestor, it's actually kind of a downside that you hold the initial balls you start with and can't cycle through them. And with Cogitator, where you can't easily guarantee, since Cogitator is not totally random, he's biased, there's no evolution with Laser or Charm that uses Broodmother or Egg Sac, so it's hard to start spawning additional baby balls to make Carouser really shine. And with Sisyphus, it's just hard, since, yeah, you can spawn extra baby balls with him. There's nothing preventing you from doing that, but it just has a weak early game, and Carouser's effect doesn't really help that. The others I just kind of played bad. what I think are the three strongest would be Falconer, Cohabitants, and Repentant, because Repentant has a bigger circle. And the others give additional balls you can hold in your orbit, since fire rate from like Itchy Finger and Spendthrift doesn't really matter. Pass through doesn't matter since all balls in the orbit pass through. Flagellant has a good starting ball for Carouser, so I like that as well, but it's not like a crazy late game or anything. In Shade, you can sort of neutralize some of Carouser's weaknesses, or other way around. Carouser can neutralize some of Shade's weaknesses by being able to hit frontline enemies. But it's not crazy or anything. And then Physicist is really weird with Carouser, since you actually have to run up to like right next to the enemies to be able to catch balls and get them in your orbit. But you kind of want to be doing that anyways with Carouser, so it's not that big of an issue. Shieldbearer is also very solid. I just played bad since the balls keep the damage jam from before you caught them. And yeah, we'll get into the runs. I didn't commentate as much on the runs because I really don't have a lot of time right now, so I'm pretty sleep deprived when I recorded most of them. And there's also not a lot to say since NG plus progression overall just got way easier with the update, and the new characters are really strong, so you can kind of dick around and usually win. Like, you don't have to play super serious. And as we get more updates, unless there's like a major balance change, it will just get easier and easier as you get more characters for trophy bonuses, even with the pool being diluted by new options. So yeah. Iron Onesie is really good with Carouser, so we'll continue this run. We can level since Berserk isn't that good. Magma's significantly better. Brimstone's also better. Landslide we don't really want. Oh. Now we're kind of guaranteed to get Landslide. I guess we can take this user. We could get Steel, but that would make Laser Cutter. Nope, we got Landslide. Shotgun? Shotgun doesn't work very well with this character. Fireworks also is not the best. Nor is Bomb. Baby Rattle's insane though, especially with Iron Onesie. Oh, and we got Cornucopia? That's so insane, actually. Holy. We don't really want Inferno. Ow. We'll skip that fuser. Wow, we're still not hitting the cornucopia level. We can try to damage boost to attack the crown directly, because you can't reach it normally on Carouser. You stand like right at the light edge. And then sort of oh, I did it incorrectly. Whoops. That's okay. We should be fine here still. It just takes a long time if you don't correctly clip through to the crown. On some characters you can just walk to the side while he's coming down, but it doesn't always seem to work either. Will we get our cornucopia level at least? Well. We can't get hit another time where we die. Well, that was a bit scuffed since we went for a trick to get to the crown and didn't pull it off. I really don't like this combination. This took like a long time to get going since even cloak isn't enough. You can sort of make Holy Laser Charm, but it's not good CC. Like, this definitely feels like one of the worst Cogitator combos. Even though I think Carouser is incredibly strong. Just the way the starting balls work and Cogitator's logic works, it's not the strongest together. Exec is good. Wretched Onion is great. It's pretty much the ideal start. So we'll fuse Exec with Earthquake, since it's pretty good for the early game, and then we'll work on something to kill the boss, probably some version of Hemo or Curse. Alright. Hand Fan's really good. There's Flash. I don't know if we'll be able to get 2 levels. Yeah, we weren't able to. There we go. And we'll get a second hemo with probably Cell since Eggsack's not in the upgrade pool anymore. Here we go. Broodmother would work too. Their Cell though, perfect. And then the last one we want would just be Bleed. For passives, I don't think it matters too much. Dynamite. Right. And here you can skip past the invisible wall. You just stand here. Oops. The only thing you have to watch out for is the shield charge attack. Oh, like that. This will take a while now, but it'll be fine. No, we use our revive too. We have to play careful. The boss is almost dead at least. There we go. Yeah, this partnership isn't the best. You do so much more damage with baby ball builds with Carouser, just the way the mechanics work, and you want to spawn a lot of baby balls. You can sort of do that if you get Maggot or Egg Sack with Sisyphus. The problem is just in later NGs, the early game is rough. So you don't really have the time to set up one of the good combos. Yeah. Cell is probably the best here. We can actually do something. Normally Benadryl doesn't work on Shade, but it actually does work with Carouser. So we can go the healer build. There's Incubus. Can I take onesie? It would delay getting bandage roll. Oh, oops, I made the wrong charm ball. That's okay. Hatchet's good too. Oh, whatever. There we go. So we need baby rattle and then bandage roll. We could do Satan, but I don't know. It's not insane or anything. There's a bandage roll, but then we wouldn't be able to get cornucopia. Exact's good. Cells okay. We'll just take bandage roll. I don't think we're gonna get cornucopia in time. And we want Broodmother Celeste Ball or a second egg sac. This boss is easy with Carouser. You don't have to worry about skipping the invisible wall because you can hit them always just by standing close. Yeah, so I think this is how most of the other stages are going to go with Carouser, where it's just super trivial, 0 deaths. It's just so strong. Any source of spawning additional baby balls, being able to keep them in play so long is ridiculous. Hemorrhage. Iron Onesie is insane for damage. X-Hack is good for spawning more baby balls. We can do the experience combo, so we need Slingshot. Does Cell do anything for us? Not really. Wind is something. We could do Wind, I guess. There's a piece of cornucopia. There's the rest of cornucopia. Oh, magnet would have been good too, but I didn't see it in time. There we go. The last thing we want is just Slingshot. And then fuse Wind, X-Hack. We could do Satan, Hemorrhage. There's a piece of Satan. There's another piece. There's the last piece we need. So then we just want Slingshot as the last passive, and then get Satan Hemorrhage online. I'd really like Slingshot for the boss, since it makes it a lot easier, since you can't always be in range of the boss. Hexack's fine. Cell's fine. So we'll take Broodmother or Slingshot here. Oh, I passed over Broodmother. Whoops. Oh, there's Slingshot. Perfect. And there's Broodmother. Yeah, you can't hit them when they're up there like that. Yeah, that wasn't the most insane combo. Not being able to banish is a bit annoying. And not being able to skip as well. It's okay though. Carouser's pretty strong once you get going. Just on this stage, it's one of the harder ones in higher NGs, if not the hardest at the beginning. There's Maggot, and there's a piece of Cornucopia. There's a piece of Radiation Beam. We can banish passes since we don't really need anything. There's Iron Onesie, perfect. There's Radiation Beam, perfect. There's a Cornucopia. magnet is what we want last. There we go. Oh, why did I evolve that? That was a mistake. Let me see if I can get Cell back. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, this is why I say Carouser strong, because this is without Hemo. Like, obviously it would die faster if I took Hemo, but Iron Onesie, like, if you look at the code, it doesn't work the same way as, like, Ethereal Cloak and Hatchet. It can actually modify the base damage, which is how we got to, like, almost 9999. Even though there's a limit of 1,000 baby balls. So in theory, it would just be 100% more. The way it actually works is significantly different. And it's pretty insane. All right. I guess this goes towards Flash. I don't really like any of those, so I think that's a skip. That goes towards Hemorrhage at least. That's Sun or Flash. We can get one more level. I'd rather have Cornucopia later than get the immediate Sun Wind going. Cornucopia. Oh wow, those projectiles hit so hard. Alright, Wind, Sun. And then Cornucopia. Then we want Bandit Roll, Light Iron. There we go. Oh my gosh, the damage. I might just straight up die to the projectiles. Alright, we need iron. There we go. That was a bit scuffed since we didn't have anything to spawn extra baby balls. And Itchy Finger, the doubled fire rate doesn't do much for Carouser since, yeah, you pretty much fire all your balls and catch them and have a ton of downtime regardless. Cell, obviously, and then Onesie is amazing with Carouser. Baby Rattle's really good. Brood Mother would have been Maggots, but we'll get it eventually. Could do Radiation Beam with Maggots. And something like Sun Hemo. Oh, I think I screwed up actually. That's okay, we'll make Radiation Beam with Cell. We can do Flicker or Sun with Hemo. Flicker's fine. So now we need iron. There we go. Ow. There's Cornucopia. And there's maggots. Oops. We need one more level before we get the fuser. Perfect. Yeah, there's not so much commentary to be had for these type of runs. Just anything you can spawn lots of baby balls with makes Carouser pop off. So as long as you can make your own selections, it's a really strong character. Some bosses, like stage 1 to 4, you can't always hit the boss unless you clip through the invisible wall that spawns, but the rest of the stages, the boss lets you walk right up to it and it pretty much instantly explodes. We can take Egg Sack. We can take Gem Spring. That will be a piece of nuke later. That will go to Vol Egg Sack. Don't really want Hand Fen if I can avoid needing it. Iron 1C is really great. I think we just chill till we fuse Vol Egg Sack. And there's Bomb. Slingshot's good. I do want that for hemorrhage later. There's hemorrhage. then probably Maggot is the last ball. So I need Broodmother or any piece of Cornucopia I'd also take like that. There you go. Yeah, not really a whole lot to say. There's no synergy, but you don't need one for Carouser. That could work towards nuke. And Cloak is great for Repentant since you get the guaranteed return and you want to return balls with Carouser. For some reason this combo, the radius of the circle of the orbit is larger, so it's probably one of his best partners. Like either that or a Flagellant. Of course anything that doubles balls is also really great since you want as many balls in play as possible. There's Maggot. Oops. I can take that since it's a piece of nuke and just fuse Charm and Freeze to get rid of, or open up a slot. And there's a Cornucopia piece. There's onesie, which is incredible. So now we just want fire and baby rattle. We don't really care about anything else. There's baby rattle at least. And there's fire, so perfect. We just need a couple levels. And we're good to go. Oh no. Maybe we'll get one more fuser. Oh, that might have been the last one. Oh, we got one more. Perfect. Yeah, you don't need to skip with Repentant. You can just hit the crown, since your radius is longer. Yeah, pretty good considering the boss. We never even actually saw the crown on the screen. Definitely one of my favorite partners for Carouser. And here's the damage. Exarch is great. None of these passives are good. That works towards Maggot or Spider Queen. I guess we can just have multiple Spider Queens, and then we need to fish for clone balls after that. Ow. That's a piece of cornucopia. That's steel. That's cornucopia. Oh, oops. There we go, we got one C. Uh, Radiation beam would be good. And then we move up the field so we can skip the invisible wall. Okay, we played terrible, but the breastplate actually clutched at the end. Yeah, normally the skip goes better than that. It's mostly like depends what move he does. Everything besides the shield charge, you just stand there and take no damage. There's also higher damage setups you can have against the boss, obviously, than this. This was a bit of a scuffed one. Without hemorrhage or curse for instant kill. But a win is a win. We do want radiation beam later. I guess we can go for healing build. We won't need flash. I want to restrict myself to not use Hemo. I don't really want shotgun. Won't need ghost. Oh, there's radiation beam, which we do want. And catapult works. I guess if we're doing healing build, we can do Sun Succubus. Or we can make Satan with like Vampire. Onesie is great. That's a piece of cornucopia. We could do Sun Maggot as well as an option. There's Sun. I guess we'll easily reach baby ball cap once we have bandage roll and cornucopia, so we can do Sun Succubus for once. There we go. There's Cornucopia. Now we just need Bandage Roll and Vampire. Or maybe we just want regular Vampire fuse with some. And we need Bandage Roll. Oh. There we go. I was worried we wouldn't get anything going. This would look like an extremely lame run. But we got everything together at the end. Here you can skip the invisible wall. It's not as necessary though, since you can just stand like right here. Yeah, that run was super soft, but the combo is just really strong. Like Exex is probably one of the best starting balls for Carouser. Yeah, there's no real complaints about this build or this character combination. Obviously, if you get Bandage Roll going sooner, it shines more. If you're doing the setup with Bandage Roll in Vampiric Sword or Healer's Effigy instead of Gem Spring plus Slingshot, just one baby balls. That's a piece of Radiation Beam, and that's a piece of Cornucopia. That's a piece of Maggot. There's Radiation Beam. So now we need Broodmother or Light. Vamp Sword we can take for later. There's Light. So now we have to take Broodmother. Ow. That's a piece of hemorrhage. There we go. Onesie is great. Oh, there's Benadryl. Super. I think we have a refuser, so we can't get cornucopia. In which case, healer's effigy is the best option. There we go. Oh, God. I don't even think this combo is that bad. Just Shroom is a bit rough in the beginning for Carouser. Or Fungal Forest, it's not called Shroom. And I was trolling a bit. Or like a bit sleep deprived. Yeah. Overall, pretty much what you'd expect. Radiation with Maggot, Hemorrhage Flash, like the bread and butter. We didn't get any like insane setup going with the healing. Like we didn't finish Cornucopia, and we didn't have any extra sources of healing besides Effigy and Vamp Sword, but you can still get pretty close to Baby Wall Cap with just that. X good. Ethereal Cloak's okay to just try to survive a little early. Benadryl's good for later. Clone's also good for later. Alright, we just want to get Ghost to not be in our pool. And then Vamp Sword we want for sure. No, we won't need that passive or this one or that one. This one we do want. And then I want to see Vampire or Egg Sack. Then I want to see Iron Onesie or Egg Sack. Real. So we're done on passives. And there's Egg Sack, perfect. Ow, holy fuck. Okay. We've survived the absolutely atrocious early game of this build. I mean, it's extremely strong once you get past that, but yeah, getting past the early game with this was quite the hurdle. Like, I tried a bunch of different things to just not immediately get murked. But usually I just run out of gold re-rolling to try to get something going. If you're on earlier stages, obviously you can just power through the very beginning, but special ball damage really falls off super duper hard the later you are. Here's the damage. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're going for endless, you can just go with something until you get the early game set up. Or play on a lower NG plus than your highest, so you can set up the early game, since it probably works fine in endless. But for like actually progressing the game, I wouldn't recommend this combo, since for progression, just the early game matters the most. In late game, you're going to destroy everything instantly, no matter what. And this struggles up to the first mini boss, or until you confuse everything away. And like, also the order you pick some matters actually a lot. Because if you pick Carouser first, it will fire Charm first, and you'll have 8 charms floating, which helps you get a couple levels. If you do Empty Nester first with like 8 or 9 ghost balls, you're not going to kill almost any enemies later on. And special ball damage is terrible. I guess Radiation Beam. Onesie is super good. Finally a nice chill run after the Nester fiasco. We could do healer build. Yeah, I'm down with that. Since we already have Succubus. fuse Succubus with probably Maggot? I don't know. Oh, that's a piece of Cornucopia. That was also Healer's Effigy. I guess we can make Soul Sucker later? I don't know. I don't think it'll matter terribly much what we choose to do. That's a piece of Maggot. That's another piece to the healer bills. But without bandage roll, it doesn't do a lot to be able to heal. I guess we can just not take Cornucopia. We might be able to reach the baby ball cap even without that. We won't need fire or ice. Maybe we need lightning. We won't need earthquake or bleed. Oh, I wanted that egg sac too. That's okay. And that's radiation beam. There we go. So we'll do Succubus with egg sac. And then who knows for the rest? Probably blind with Soul Sucker. Or not blind, flash. Then we want to see Cell here. There we go. Then we want light or lightning. Oh. Yeah, by no means an optimal build, but just having some fun after struggling with Nisters early game. There's nothing particularly good about this combo since fire rate doesn't matter for Carouser. But there's nothing particularly bad either. Here's the damage. There's flash. Exec probably would have been better. That's okay. This combo is a bit weird because you actually have to grab your balls from bouncing near the front of the enemy to get them in Carouser's orbit. It's a cornucopia piece. That's a piece of hemorrhage. There's hemorrhage. We did not get a Wishing Well proc. These swords should be good with bandage roll though. Oh, ow. The boss is broken. I think we'd be pretty fucking dead if the boss didn't break there. Yeah, I guess don't complain about good fortune. So we want either onesie, healer's effigy, or baby rattle. There's baby rattle. Let's cornucopia. I guess we'll do maggot, radiation beam, perhaps. There's healer's effigy, so we just went onesie. Perfect. I don't know if we'll get all the levels for maggot, radiation beam. Maybe with a Wishing Well proc. It's gonna be close. I don't think we're getting 3 more levels before this. We got it. Perfect. This combo is a bit scuffed. Since it is kind of anti-synergy with Carouser who wants to catch their balls, we kind of just got super lucky that the first mini-boss spiked out. We didn't have a very good setup for it, but a win with 0 deaths is a win with 0 deaths, regardless of how you get there, I suppose. Here's the damage. Yep. There's Flash. And it rolls great. Onesie is great. That's part of Hemo. That's part of Radiation Beam. There's Flash. Oh, we got the double fuser bug. Sick. So we need laser or iron or a good passive. That is a good passive indeed. And there's laser. So we want to see Warhorn, Vamp Sword, Healer's Effigy, or Iron Onesie. There's Vamp Sword. There's Warhorn for Cornucopia. Oh my god, the lag. Cornucopia. Oh my goodness. We do want Cell later, but we have to take Iron as the next ball. We can start banishing some things, so there we go. And now we can work towards Maggot. Healer's Effigy would be the last passive we want. We can grab this first. I want to see Broodmother or Healer's Effigy. We can banish some things. There we go. Surely we can get healer's effigy. Here we go. Oh my god, the lag. Yeah, one of Carouser's best partners. One of the easier stages. And we got an extremely meta setup early on with like the double fusers that bug out on the stage. Flash Emo, Radiation Beam Maggot, and then the healing with Carouser to catch all the baby balls spawned from Bandage Roll.